arm circles a little while ago, so let's just review that real quick. This way. Up. Okay. Cross. Upwards. So watch. 1, 2. Why am I confused? X. Upwards. 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 Okay. So arm circles, you can go downwards, upwards, cross, upward X, and then both hands following, both hands going downwards. Okay. So we're going to work the punches, right? So in by help high, Lama, they do a lot of takes on real body. So there's a lot of power yield, a lot of power from the waist that comes out, right? The punches, when you see it, right, it looks like big open punches, and people are like, can't I see that a mile away? I'm gonna punch you in the face, whatever. But people understand that I'm getting my center line offline, and I'm allowing the person to see that I'm open. And I don't do it stationary when I'm fighting, right? I'm using my footwork. As big as these punches are, you need to make small steps and angular, right? So if I did something, so if you punch me, right? These big arm circles that we do, I don't really focus on this so much, the sensitivity. When I see something, this is how I practice. Here. One. If you make the circle smaller, you get all your subtle energies, right? But think crane big wings. I think Lama. We're doing here Lama, so it's long bridge, big horse, right? We don't focus so much on the subtleties of sensitivity so much, right? What we're trying to do is basically bulldoze that other person, right? I think the key point to make about this is that you see these big punches in home kid. There's that crossover between Lama and home kid. So in folk singing, we have that lot of that 1, 2, up here, right? That all came from Lama, right? And why did a short or medium bridge art find taking those long techniques useful is because they do have a lot of power in them, and if you know how to use them, they're very useful, right? You have to play ranges. You should have something for the long range where you're not touching, right? And medium range where you can touch the other person can touch you, and finally punching range. I talked about this X. So if the person gives me 2 punches, 1 punch, same. 1, 2, hit, right? Notice that I'm not focused so much on the stances. You want to almost fall forward, right? Because if let's say like I don't have this ability, if I miss and I fall forward, I can still use my body and roll, taking this person's arm, right? I just think about it as if you're just trying to get, someone throws me a punch, we'll start off with this, big, hit, step diagonal, hit straight.
Wait, where do you want to contact what person's punch?
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter where?
Wherever I have you.
Oh, okay.
Can be here.
Okay.
Here. Right?
Okay.
Can be hot drop. Just gonna have that. Whatever you touch. Think about your tenbi, like your whole arm is your morshi, not just this. The whole arm. And the stepping is important because we're not doing like this, right? You want to angle out this way. So even if you want to hit me, my targets are out of the way. I'm going to follow this up with a circle. 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 Yeah, you need a huge circle.
Question, what's the forward fist shape and the backward?
Classically, Lama by help high, the way that we hold our fists is you clench and you put the thumb on top.
On top.
The thought is that this is a big surface area.
Yeah.
Right? But if you want to do this, you want to do this. This is just what's at the end of this arm. You can choose whatever. This is the Swiss Army knife. You do whatever you want with it at the end. The generation of force is still straight. Is what matters. The footwork is diagonal, but whatever you want to put at the end of it, depending on where your target is. I think that's important to talk about. Is you need to know where you're striking, right? So like Phil, like I talked about this a little bit, and this is where like knowing a little bit of anatomy helps, right? Punches should contour to where you're hitting. There's only good and better hitting, right? But let's say I'm trying to get to his liver. Am I gonna punch like this? Am I gonna punch like this? If I wanna get to it, because we know the liver is right under the ribcage, you wanna go in and up, right? If I wanna get to his bladder, which is sitting here, you're not gonna punch like this. Let's not punch my bladder. You're gonna go down this way, right? So depending on where you're hitting, right, it should contour. Otherwise, it's not gonna really make as much damage.
Right. It's gonna be surface.
Right.
Yeah.
1, 2, we're not all 1, 2, 1. Inward, outward, punch. Back. 1, 2. And relax this arm, right? This wing arm doesn't have to be so tense, right? Just relax. That just, the whole body is, right. This is, exactly, right? This is heavy, right? But it doesn't penetrate, right? You want to use a drop, right? So it should feel like 1, 2, 3. Inside, outside, push. And not from here. It's from the chest. From the chest.
It's like a whip.
It's still coming from the center line, like in Wing Chun punching, right? So
Whipping forward.
I see Lama people sometimes they say, punch from the shoulder. But if you push, I don't have the structure behind it. What should be felt is your elbow and your fist should be in front of your chest. Your arms are like springs, right? Right. That's how it should be, not here. Not here.
There's no sticking with this, right?
No.
Oh, no sticking. Yeah, no sticking.
Don't worry about it.
And what were you gonna say? What are you gonna correct me on?
Whether you grab, or you slap, or you ride it, that really comes out of your nose. We were worried about power. So in the moment, it might feel small.
It doesn't matter.
In the moment, might feel percussive. But get this first, right? Tongues, right?
Question. So like, I felt two different things. One is more like I have a hit and bang him out like that, and then another one is I ride him out.
Those are both
He literally just said to me.
Okay. Oh, okay, correct. So,
whether you want to do this, or you want to go carry it, or just ride it, they're all correct. You just want this to this big motion. Just get that in your mind.
I see.
Sometimes I have a hard time with shell dive, those are specialty styles. Usually those people have some kind of pulling, some kind of meat and potato salad before. They already have the power. And then you fine tune it with this. But a lot of people, I feel, if you start off with that, it takes a little longer to get there. So you can use these concepts to build that body type, and then you can decide, well, I want to practice jigging. I want to practice that short power. Or I still like the big power, right? So you can do arts like chole effect. But if you start off with a specialty art and you don't do a deep potato style, like, it's like medical school. If you can't become a brain surgeon if you haven't gone through basic neurosurgery residency, right? So you need to have some kind of foundation first. And then you build those specialties depending on what fits your attribute, what fits your body type. Right? Like big guys like you, when you guys do like little T-Rex kung fu, I don't get it. You should make use of the size, right? And if you're small, then you should know how to fight small. Right? The little guys who all of a sudden wave their arms like trolley foot, it's cute. It's cute, but it's not the same.
It does seem like the mechanics are very similar to Western boxing though, right? So like you're stepping, you're essentially parrying, which is like the kung fu part, right? Like you're doing this, but then your cross, when you're stepping,
It's the same
crossing, you're throwing that power in, right? So it's similar dynamics there. You're throwing punches like this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of a falling.
Yeah.
That
Tall
Jack
step,
Dempsey
yep.
kinetic chain kind of thing.
Drop step, yeah.
That's what's happening.
You're
Good
just
body
using.
mechanics, whether it's east or west, still helps.
Yeah.